Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coast News. And as always, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Drayton Manor have officially announced the name of their brand new Intamin family lift and launch coaster. And this news, honestly, it just feels really overdue, honestly, like with all the stuff that's going on with Drayton Manor's new coaster. Definitely taking the time with it, I can tell you that. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically they've announced the name for their brand new, for 2024, Intamin Family Lift and Launch Coaster, and it's going to be called Gold Rush. Obviously it's part of the brand new Frontier Falls area, which opened back in, I think it was in late March this year, or April. And it's home to 3 other attractions, I believe. It's home to the Haunting, the and also the Blasting Barrels, and also the Sheriff Shootdown attraction. And this when Gold Rush opens, it'll be the main attraction of that whole area. And we still don't know loads of details about it. We do know that the other day they announced the name in a brand new teaser video for the ride, and it also confirms that the attraction will have a minimum height restriction of just 1 meter. Which is very rare to see, because you know, like a lot of roller coasters, generally a lot of height restrictions in amusement park rides. It's usually somewhere along the lines of 0.9 meters, 1.2 meters, or 1.4 meters. It's not usually any different. We've been seeing quite a few rides with like 1.3 height meter restrictions, like a lot of Mack roller coasters like Icon and Hyperia. But this roller coaster, Gold Rush, only just has a height restriction of 1 meter, which is very interesting to see, but allows it to be a lot more accessible to younger thrill seekers as well. We don't have an opening date yet, but Drayton Manor have still stated it's opening this summer. We don't know when that could be. I'm predicting it could be in August, because the ride has been testing constant it's actually got multiple different ride cycles as well, with different ride settings. So that's what they said about it being a different experience depending on what time of day you ride it. This is what they mean, because the fact the ride has 2 switch tracks, and it means it can do different layout experiences, and that's going to make the really fun part of it, the interactivity of it. So it's been testing along different cycles. It's been testing for about a month now, or maybe 2 months. I think it's about a month, but I predict it could open in August. Now that might be a little late for a new theme park attraction opening, especially for a roller coaster, but at least it's it's better late opening than never, I suppose. At least it's not being delayed until next year. But finally, we now have a name for this brand new Drayton Manor roller coaster, known as Gold Rush, and he's getting used to calling it that name now. And I can't wait for it to open, hopefully later this year, possibly in August 2024, at Drayton Manor. In other news today, Alton Towers have confirmed that Hex will reopen this autumn. Now, I'm glad that they've actually made a statement about the status of Hex after all these months, but we still don't have an official reopening date for this ride. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically, Hex, the Legend of the Towers, which is its full name, is a Vekoma Madhouse rides that first opened in the year 2000 at Alton Towers in Staffordshire. It's become one of the more iconic attractions at the park, really, other than roller coasters, because the main thing about it is based on a local legend about the Earl of Shrewsbury and his family being cursed by a witch. Because the story is that the Earl denies the witch the charity of a coin, and so the witch cursed the old oak tree so that every time a branch fell off of that tree, a member of the Earl's family would die. And so the Earl chained up the tree to prevent any more family members dying. And then there's the extended part of the story, which Alton Towers added on, that wasn't actually in the local legend, where the Earl took the fallen branch that had fallen, that he believed had killed one of his family members. He took it back to the towers to basically do like science experiments on it to sort of basically banish the curse. And that is the main sort of story in the ride. You go into the secret vault where the branch was being kept, and that is like the sort of main story of the ride. And it's really cool, and it's also built sort of technically within the towers, not within the actual ruins themselves. It's sort of thought I can extend the queue line for the ride is in the towers, but the actual building for the ride itself is sort of an extended part just outside of it. Now, the ride has been suffering from quite a lot of mechanical problems over all of this year and most of last year. Like, it was closed pretty much the majority of last year, and then before the season started this year, they confirmed that it was going to reopen not on opening day this year, but later on in the year. And then after that, we had no updates on it for months, literally for months. And then earlier this week, we finally got like a statement from Bianca Sammet, who currently operates Alton Towers, who basically just stated it's going to plan to reopen it in autumn. They've also done like loads of they've fixed the rides, they've added new like sort of special effects and updated a lot of the theming and basically done it all up to make it look nicer. It's not like a Nemesis Reborn style refurbishment, but they have sort of many enhancements to the ride, and hopefully should be opening in some point in autumn, so probably around Scarefest time, which it seems is probably a bit of a late opening, but at least it's not getting rid of it, and I can't wait for this ride to reopen. Also in the news today, and also about Alton Towers, the Alton Towers Dungeon has officially closed to make way for a new Scarefest attraction. Now, we all saw this coming from quite a long way away, considering how many people actually go in the Alton Towers Dungeon on a regular basis. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, the Alton Towers Dungeon is a indoor dark ride located at Alton Towers. It's actually originally been there, operating since, I believe, 1980, the 80s. I think it's been there since 1980. Oh, it was probably one of the original. I could be wrong. It's opened definitely in the 80s originally, where it was originally known as Around the World in 80 Days. In fact, I think it might be an opening day attraction. I could be wrong though. It's gone through many different versions of the ride's theme. First, it was Around the World in 80 Days. Then in 1994, they rethemed it to Toyland Tours. And it remained that way until 2005, 6, I can't remember when it was, when they rethemed it to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory the ride. It was always sort of like an indoor sort of boat ride attraction with lots of different theming in it. And it would remain as the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory ride until 2015, where the ride was just SBNO, standing but not operating, all the way up until 2019, when it confirms that they will be turning it into the Alton Towers Dungeon. But what sets this apart from other dungeons is it's more like the Warwick Castle dungeon, where you have to pay an additional ticket to get in the attraction, even if you're an annual pass holder. So, and obviously since it's been opened, literally the whole area that is around it has just been dead. Like, the ride's popularity is very minimal. You rarely see anyone actually in there. I've never been in there myself, but I've not really heard much about it because of how unpopular of an attraction it is. Like, it's always so quiet down the area. You mainly see people in the area heading towards David Walliams World or the Sky Ride, which has been shut for ages as well. And it's only been operating for about 5 years. And earlier this year, they also confirmed that the Alton Towers Dungeon would be closing in the summer to make way for a brand new Scarefest attraction. Now, we still have yet to find out what this new Scarefest attraction is, but could this be a sign of what they actually plan to do with the dungeons? Could we have seen, look, they're only saying it's closed for Scarefest, but could this basically mean that the dungeons is now closing up permanently and being replaced by something else? I think that's a smart move, to be honest, because what's the point of keeping it operating and paying all the costs for it if literally hardly anyone goes in it? So it's kind of a wise move from Alton Towers, and I cannot wait to see what this attraction becomes for Scarefest. And finally in the news today, Six Flags and Cedar Fair have officially merged to become the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. Now, this merger has been in the talks for a good few months now, ever since like sort of the end of last year. Where I'm talking about basically the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation is a massive amusement park operator. It's become the largest amusement park operator in the United States. It was originally just two companies. It was originally Six Flags and Cedar Fair. Now, Six Flags, they're obviously well known in the United States for obviously owning all the Six Flags parks. So well known are Six Flags Magic Mountain, Six Flags Great Adventure, Discovery Kingdom, etc. And Cedar Fair, they obviously own other parks like Cedar Point, King's Dominion, King's Island, Knott's Berry Farm, Dorney Park. So basically they own both two massive amusement park companies in the United States, and they've sort of been rivaling for years. Like, they're very much rival parks. But then the very unexpected thing happened last year. They announced that they would actually officially be merging into one company. Then it was stated at first that they would be keeping the Six Flags name, so Cedar Fair would technically be no more. Like, there was no more Cedar Fair, it was just Six Flags. And then a few weeks ago, they officially confirmed that the merger would actually be made official, like completely done, on the 1st of July. That they'd told the New York Stock Exchange that it was going to be made official on the 1st of July. And that they would become the largest operator of amusement parks in the United States. And so 1st of July came and went, and it is now known as the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. There's no more Cedar Fair. In fact, it's not even really like... It's sort of... Well, there is Cedar Fair, but it's sort of mainly within the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation company. So now they're a huge operator of amusement parks in the United States, and also a little bit of Canada and Mexico as well, so North America as a whole. Now the main company, they're even bigger of an amusement park operator in the United States than Disney and Universal. Because Disney and Universal Disney only has like 2 resorts in the whole of the United States. Same with Universal as well, they only own 2 resorts in that country too. I think there's about I could be wrong, but I think there's about 42 parks in total that's owned under the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation umbrella. I could be wrong, it's around that. So honestly, they're absolutely huge now, and obviously all the profits and all the will have been combined into one, so maybe it's a bright future for them. We'll have to wait and see. So that is it for this week's episode of Coaster News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment where we'd like to see in the next video.